Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Ahmed and this is Egyptian Reacts and Reviews. Today I am starting a new material basically. I found out that Epic Rap Battles of History has just dropped the first battle in a while. I love that series. It's one of my favorite YouTube channels. The pairing is something that has been a long time coming, honestly. I decided why not do a reaction video to it now that I have my own reaction channel. But first, please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel and leave a like and a comment at the end of the video. So we have Lara Croft versus Indiana Jones. The original explorers, of course. Indiana Jones first, then Lara Croft. I basically know all their history because I was a huge fan of the Tomb Raider games ever since the first one. I remember I was maybe 10 years old when I played it. It looked like a block kind of video game like Minecraft right now. And I remember having a lot of fun trying to put the butler in the freezer and close the door, and the T-Rex that came out. I have so many good memories with Tomb Raider games. The movies, on the other hand, were not as good to me as the video games. Angelina Jolie was a great Lara Croft. She's my favorite. But then the newer movies, and even the newer games, were not very attractive to me. Then comes Indiana Jones, which is, to me, is the classic. All the original 3 movies came before I was born, and so I saw them growing up, and they are absolutely one of my favorites of all time. The Crystal Skull, however, we will leave that aside. I thought, why not make a reaction video to this new battle? And the way I'll do it is I'm gonna watch it first once without any interruptions, and then I'm gonna go back and play it again to check the lines more carefully, to then tell you who I think won. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Epic Rap Battles of History! Lara Croft versus Indiana Jones!
Let's get this battle cracking. I'll leave you like your reboot, flattened. You used to be the queen of booby trapping. What happened? You got too woke to be fun. Now my Indiana kinda don't want none. Too many voices inside you. You burn through women quicker than I do. I think you should have dropped Hollywood as an option when even Angelina gave you up for adoption. Let's cut to the chase. Wait, he died. I guess you couldn't theft the addicts in time. And the bandicoot to your family's playing in ashes, kid. You got a tragic history of crashes. The puzzle I'm trying to beat is figuring out why you're dressed for the beach. I've seen more class than the kids I teach. You can rise all you want, now I'm still out of reach. So go grab your relics and run. You verse me is sword versus gun. Honey, just the first 4 notes of my theme exceed everything you've done.
Dr. Jones, you're no rival. You've been getting owned since Gimme the Whip, Throw Me the Idol. Indiana Conda, for heaven's sake, you'd shit those dickies at a garter snake. You stole your famous leather daddy jacket and Stetson from the cold dead hands of Charlton Heston. Some ladies mistake you for brave and hunky, but you're such a tough to date you could kill a little monkey. Marion is 15 when you raided her bow. That's no time for love, Dr. Jones. This is one temple that you'll never be exploring. You're not John Williams, so you ain't scoring. 3 decades in the game and my fans still adore me. You tried alien skulls and chose poorly. Your whole story got blown up on a sitcom. There's a big bang you can't hide in the fridge from. Hang up the whip before you crack a hip. I think even Mutt wants you to quit.
Just do it!
Uncle Dinosaurs for fun. What's another old geezer? I'll lock this battle up like Winston in the freezer.
Dinosaurs belong in a museum!
I've been served a full-course meal of chilled Indian voodoo, and they don't even kill as many animals as you do. You're corrupting the youth. They should be outside, not trying to unload the barrels on your thighs. You might have ditched those pistols akimbo, but you're still the same rich backflipping bimbo. A rap with a treasure map to catastrophe, stuff in your knapsack with innocent casualties. Square Enix didn't watch anymore. That's why they dropped you like a J in the floor. When they designed your core, they ripped my style and jiggled in a bit of girl's Polygon Wild.
You took 3D to uncharted territory. Now you're just in uncharted territory, overshadowed by Drake-like.
Well, wait, somebody needs to make a tune for your old game.
If you want a top game, stick to sorry. That verse was worse than your crap on Atari. Aw, Fedora the Explorer thinks he's tough. You must have gotten dragged behind too many trucks. So strap some blocks on short rounds and pump the brakes. The only overshadowed thing is that face. I'm whooping you so bad I should get flagged for cheating. Like Muller ran with a heart in his tail. got was sloppy seconds. You ditched your sidekick, never met your own kid, cause his mum cut you off like a rope bridge. You're a dog, Indiana, that's fact. The only thing you're loyal to's a hat, no cap. Your face straight melted and you lost that smolder, so make like a boulder and roll your ass over. Cause Junior, the baby boomer beating me at rapping, that's like my nude codes. Never gonna happen.
Hold wall! Holster! Yoga song! Abba!
Okay, that was very good. It had a lot of jabs that I got from the first viewing. It was good. So now let's go back, and I'm going to start looking at it verse by verse, and then let's see what I missed in the first one. Okay, so.
Lara Croft! Faster! Indiana Jones!
Let's get this battle cracking. I'll leave you like a reboot, flattened.
Okay, so the reboot here, I think they mean the games after they were sold.
Used to be the queen of booby trapping. What happened?
And of course, we don't need to, explain why she was the queen of booby trapping.
You got too woke to be fun. Now my Indiana kinda don't want none.
Too woke to be fun. I would say so. It did. The original games were, and even the movies were just about, have as much fun as possible. It was a run-and-gun adventure, and then they decided to make it, this intricate details with backstory of, her, in what I'm talking about the newer games. The drama was good, the backstory was good, but it took away part of why the original games were fun. You didn't need to care about anything, you were just having fun and adventure.
Too many voices inside you. You burn through women quicker than I do. I think you should have dropped Hollywood as an option when even Angelina gave you up for adoption.
Okay, so he's talking about dropping women more than him because we know Indiana Jones with every movie there was a different woman, and I think he's talking about the actresses, how the actresses change, but honestly there were just two. And then okay, maybe the new one will be the third, I believe, or the new one will be the second. Okay. So, Angelina gave her up for adoption means that we know Angelina adopts a lot of children, so. But this one she gave up because she did not want to continue doing the Lara Croft movies.
Let's cut to the chase. He died. I guess you couldn't tap the addicts in time.
The chase. That was her sidekick, if I believe, and if he died, did he die in the movies? I don't remember. Maybe it was in the new games, but because like I said, I think the last two games I haven't played. I played only the first game of the reboot, and since then I think one or two more came out, and I never played them. So maybe he died in one of those, and of course she didn't press X in time the action sequences. So yeah, so that's a jab on action sequences.
Bandicoot, to your family's playing in ashes, kid. You got a tragic history of crashes.
From Crash Bandicoot, okay, so it's another video game. So her family's plane crashed, and of course Crash Bandicoot was one of the competitors back then when games were not that many. So Crash Bandicoot was also another great franchise at that time.
I'm trying to beat, figuring out why you're dressed for the beach. I've seen more class than the.
And yeah, of course we know that this has been a trope forever of wearing shorts and in the jungle, which makes no sense, but that was how it was done.
It's
set cheeks, you can rise all you want. Now I'm still out of reach. So go grab your relics and run. You versus me is sword versus gun. Honey,
Yeah, and of course we know that was a reference to the movie when Indiana Jones was fighting. It was in the Lost Ark when this guy brought out a sword. Of course, I have so many things about how idiotic and racist these things are, because first of all, Egypt looked nothing like that. Egypt was even more advanced than London at that time. People did not hold swords or wear this kind of clothings, or even the houses and the buildings that they showed, they did not look like that in the early 20th century. So let's get past that, but this is when Indiana Jones took out the gun and shot the guy with the sword.
just the first 4 notes of my theme exceed everything you've done.
Dr. Jones, you're no rival. You've been getting owned since Give Me the Whip, Throw Me the Idol. Indiana.
Yeah, so this is also a jab at the very original scene in the Raiders of the Lost Ark where he was the actor was the one who played Doc Ock in Spider-Man movies. Alfred Molina, yeah, that was Alfred Molina who told him throw me the idol and then left him.
Conda, for heaven's sake, you'd shit those dickies at a garter snake. You stole your.
And yeah, of course, here it was a weird thing for him to say a snake reference when he's scared so much of snakes. So yeah, that was a very obvious rebuttal here.
Famous leather daddy jacket and Stetson from the cold dead hands of Charlton Heston. Some ladies mistake you for brave and hunky, but you're such a.
So Charlton Heston, I know, was an actor back or way earlier before Indiana Jones. So I'm not sure what the reference here means, but Charlton Heston was definitely one of the biggest actors who played a lot of westerns in the 60s, I believe.
Up to date, you could kill a little monkey. Marion is 15 when he raided her bow. There's no time for love, Dr. Jones.
And yeah, that was a thing. Everyone didn't know how old Marion was when they were talking about their past history. And yeah, a lot of people said she was underaged back then. So yeah, that was a thing. And kill a little monkey refers to the monkey who was poisoned. But Indiana didn't kill him. It was the guy who poisoned the dates.
This is one temple that you'll never be exploring. You're not John Williams, so you ain't scoring. 3 decades in the.
And of course, this is John Williams because we know John Williams is the one who did the soundtrack for the Indiana Jones movies. So he isn't scoring because, you know, a lot of people say that the scores from John Williams actually were a lot of what helped a lot of the movies. But that's a Spielberg thing. It's not really just Indiana Jones.
Game and my fans still adore me. You tried alien skulls and chose poorly. Your whole story got.
Yep. Definitely, but I wouldn't say the new games were as good. Like, for me, Tomb Raider maybe lost its, appeal a few years ago. So I wouldn't say 3 decades and people still like her. But definitely the original ones are definitely my favorite. And here now she wears the costume from the reboots.
Blown up on a sitcom. There's a big bang you can't.
Oh, and when she said the Crystal Skull, we know the 4th movie. And now, this was actually a good job because I have seen that episode of The Big Bang Theory where Amy is speaking to Sheldon and tells him that when she saw the movie, she wasn't impressed because Indiana Jones plays no part in the story, because without him, the Nazis would have found the Ark, they would have opened it, and all died anyway. So Indiana Jones was completely irrelevant. And Sheldon could not respond, and I was shocked as well, because when I thought about it, I found out it's true. So everything happened despite what he was doing, and they still opened it and died by themselves. So that was a lot, like an eye opener there.
Hide in the fridge, frog. Hang up the whip before you.
And of course, you can hide in the fridge because we saw in the Kingdom Skull of the Crystal Skull, there was a nuclear explosion, and he decided just to hide in a fridge, and the fridge was blown away by the explosion, and he was fine. That has to be a magic fridge right there.
Crack a hip. I think even Mutt wants you to quit.
Just do it!
And of course, Mutt, it turns out to be his son in the fourth movie, and he was really old when in that fourth movie.
Dinosaurs for fun. What's another old geezer? I'll lock this battle up like Winston in the freezer.
And there it is. Those are two references I actually mentioned before the battle. So, she kills dinosaurs for fun, which is basically when she was fighting, there was a T-Rex that came out in in the original game, and Winston was her butler, and her trying to lock him in the freezer. That was a lot of fun. A lot of people used to do it. Just get him all the way to the freezer and jump on top above him, and then just log the freezer and see him trying to come out. It was hilarious.
Dinosaurs belong in a museum!
I've been served a full-course meal of chilled Indian voodoo.
Yeah, and so this is a play on where this belongs in a museum when he was talking about the cross of Coronado. And then he did in the in the movie The Temple of Doom, which was in India. He saw a lot of rituals and magic.
They don't even kill as many animals as you do. You're corrupting the youth. They should.
And yeah, of course, basically most of the enemies in Tomb Raider were animals. Tigers, wolves, and the T-Rex. And he's saying, yeah, even they didn't kill as much animals as you did.
Be outside, not trying to unload the barrels on your thighs. You might have ditched those.
And of course, we know those are her guns who she straps on her thighs.
Pistols akimbo, but you're still the same rich backflipping bimbo, a brat with a treasure map to catastrophes.
Yeah, so basically, he was a scientist. He was an archaeologist. What he did was mainly for knowledge, while she did it for fame and glory, basically. So, and she, of course, was very rich. She had a mansion. She had a butler. She was extremely rich. So, there were basically no limitations to what resources she can get.
Stuff in your knapsack with innocent casualties. Square Enix didn't watch anymore. That's why.
Yeah, so Square Enix was the original. I mean, was it? It was Eidos as well. I think it was Eidos first, then Square Enix, but then it was sold.
They dropped you like a J in the floor when they designed your core.
And they dropped you like a J in the floor. This is a reference to him when he was, this was in The Last Crusade, when he was walking the second trap and wanted to spell Jehovah, but then he stepped on the J by mistake, and then the floor dropped. He was supposed to step on the I instead of not the J.
Where they ripped my style
And jiggled in a bit of girl's Polygon Wild.
You took 3D to uncharted territory. Now you're just in uncharted territory.
So you took 3D to uncharted territory? That's because the third game in Uncharted was 3D and it didn't do very well. And not the game, the 3D mechanics, I mean. And the same was, I mean, Tomb Raider was even worse when they wanted to make 3D. And so that's a jab on both Lara Croft and Nathan Drake at the same time. So now you're in Uncharted's territory. Okay, but Uncharted is a very good game. But maybe he's talking about the movie. Yeah, he's probably talking about the movie, that because the movie was not as good as expected. So I love that that basically for me Indiana Jones comes for I'm talking here purely as the total love I have for these characters. So it will be always Indiana Jones, Lara Croft, and then Nathan Drake, because I think that's the order in which I saw them, and Indiana Jones is what got me liking the entire genre. Lara Croft was me finally playing that genre, and then Nathan Drake is the best and the most recent graphics and story and gameplay, but it's still the nostalgia factor for me in the other two.
Overshadowed by Drake like Lil Wayne. Somebody needs to make a...
And of course, overshadowed by Drake, that's Nathan Drake, but also Drake the singer overshadows Lil Wayne. Okay, that's fun.
tune for your whole game.
If you want to talk game,
Makes a tune for your whole game. It's a jab on the title, Tomb Raider. Okay.
Victor, sorry, that verse was worse than your crap on Atari. Oh.
So I'm not sure what she means sticks to sorry. It was was there someone named Sorry in the movies? But the Atari game was not bad. It was good. I played most of the Indiana Jones games, even the point and click games that used to come out in the 90s. I loved those ones. They were great. They weren't as good as the Lara Croft games, the Tomb Raider games, because the Tomb Raider games were action. Those ones were more like a thinker puzzle game. And actually, Indiana Jones is supposed to be a puzzle game, and I loved it for that. But then comes Tomb Raider, and it was a huge upgrade to graphics and gameplay, and so that's why they were much better at that time.
Oh, Fedora the Explorer thinks he's tough. You must have gotten dragged behind too many trucks. So straps.
Okay, and Fedora the Explorer, we know Dora the Explorer, and Fedora is a play on the hat he wears. It's a good one.
Some blocks on short rounds and pump the brakes. The only over.
Short Round, was his sidekick in the Temple of Doom, and he was driving the car, so that's why she says stomp the brakes.
What shadow thing is that face? I'm whooping you so bad I should get flagged for cheating. Like Mull around with a heart and he's taking a beating.
Okay, I'm not very sure what this part means. I guess it's something that I'm not familiar with. So, let me know in the comments what this specific verse meant. Thank you.
Best wet dream gamers ever had. You're a Halloween costume for out-of-shape dads.
We also don't know. This is pretty straightforward, but it makes fun of how old he is and how all the gamers loved Lara Croft, basically.
My bad. Your dad was never present. At best, the affection you got was sloppy seconds.
And his dad was never present. Yeah, we saw that in The Last Crusade, but they made up. They buried the hatchet eventually. So everything was well after that.
You did your sidekick, never met your own kid, cause his mom cut you off like a rope bridge.
And yeah, a lot of bridges fall down in both franchises. So a lot of rope bridges fall down. But I think here she's talking about the one in the Temple of Doom where he cut it himself with a sword, and of course he ditched his sidekick, all of them. Like Salah, he was ditched. Short Round was ditched. Yeah, those are the main two. And then all the women, I wouldn't consider them sidekicks.
You're a dog, Indiana, that's fact. The only thing you're loyal to's a hat, no cap.
And You're a Dog, Indiana is also making fun of the fact that he's when they in the end of the Last Crusade, when Salah asked his father, why do you keep calling him Junior? And he told him because that's his name, Henry Jones Jr. Then where did Indiana come from? He said, Indiana said, I like Indiana. And his father said, we named the dog Indiana. That was a hilarious moment. So your dog Indiana is a play on that.
Face straight melted and you lost that smolder, so make
And your face melted, also a jab at the bad guy at the end where his face starts melting, but because, you know, now he's old and has a lot of, like, you know, what are they called? Like, you know, when someone gets old and they get some dry skin and it's not as vibrant as young anymore.
like a boulder and roll your ass over! Cause Junior, the baby boomer beat.
Of course, the boulder is probably the most famous scene in Indiana Jones, and when she said Junior, that's also that's his real name, Henry Jones Jr.
Me a rapping? That's like my nude codes. Never gonna happen.
Whole wall!
And yeah, I remember this. So many, like, I don't know if they even existed, but so many people back then. So if you have the codes, you'll be able to play with Lara like that. And honestly, like, there was no way back then those games had any kind of most of the fun stuff was glitches, and so for me to think that you had such an intricate thing, maybe mods came afterwards or something, but yeah, not while I was playing it. They didn't exist. So that was fun. That was a fun battle. I loved all the references. I missed a couple, I'm pretty sure, but they gave Lara a lot of the good jabs, the better jabs. That's because I think Indiana Jones is a more detailed story. That's why she had more jabs. Who won in this battle? I would say Lara Croft won because she made a lot of references that were real and good. While Indiana Jones mainly was speaking about like how her games were not as good, and like in the newer games were not as good, and the newer movies were not as good, and that's true. But Indiana Jones, the games were, I would say, good, but never came to the status of Tomb Raider games. And they were both came out in the 90s, but the jump in graphics and gameplay was huge at that time. So definitely the Tomb Raider games are much better. So Indiana Jones has nothing in terms of games. All the new generation games were never really that good. Like, for me, the best Indiana Jones games were the point and click games, which are no match to even the original Tomb Raider games. Also, Indiana Jones made a lot of fun about, you know, that she's rich and that she's, you know, a kid with a map, and that's fine. But also, he did it from a privileged point of view. He had all his father's, you know, resources, his university resources. So basically, he didn't come from nothing. No, he came from a family that already was an archaeologist, that had an archaeologist in it, and the university backed him up for everything, his travels, his expenses, and things like that. So it's not like he did everything on his own. So I wouldn't say this was a great jab right here. So thank you, everyone. I'm so happy and glad that I got to react on ERB on my channel now. And I'm gonna keep reacting to those videos as they drop. So please subscribe to my channel and go ahead and check it out and see all the other content I have on my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.